Okay?
How has this experience changed how you see about yourself?
How did that experience, well, fortunately, I had parents who had already told me that I was just as good as the next person, and I knew that. I had pretty good self-esteem. I didn't talk a lot, okay? No. It was all about performance.
Wait till it's his turn.
Is what it was. And I felt that if, as long as I performed, I would do okay. Now, I did not go there to
Stop it.
for race relations. Okay? Now, I heard that what I was doing for my race, we all did. We heard that. You know, you just don't know that this is really opening up the doors for our race and so forth.
Okay.
Well, yes, that is happening, but all we really wanted to do was go to school. Okay? So I do know that that sort of thing took place and that we did make it, we set a standard, especially throughout the South, about integrating schools and so forth. I was told by Congressman John Lewis that because of what we did as teenagers, that was the reason college students got involved in the sit-ins.
Wow.
So we were really before all of the true civil rights movement. And I think that they were encouraged by what they had seen. In fact, John Lewis told me, he said, you know, if high school kids can do what you guys did, we felt like that we had dropped the ball as college students and we needed to do something.
Wow, that's cool.
So that's what really happened.
Okay, Kyle, stand up.
Yes. Oh. Can I get one over here on this side, since? Yep. Okay.
Wait, Kyle. He has to wait.
The question was there any common decency and professionalism from the military? And I am proud to say yes.
Yay.
Okay? But they were young. They were probably, some of them had gone to high school there, I don't know. But they followed the orders. Let me put it that way. And each guard that I had did exactly what he was supposed to do. Now, what I did find out, and I only found this out 5 years ago, that there were no bullets in the guns.
Oh my God.
And you know what? And I'm happy that that was the case, because if something had really caused, it could have been a worse situation of killing kids, okay? But there were no bullets in those guns, but just the sight of those guns was enough to, I guess, keep as much control as they possibly could. Unfortunately, we couldn't just tell the vice principal or the principal or the teacher that who did what. They had to be an adult who witnessed it, and it had to be two. Well, hey.
Get your foot down right now. Now.
So I got to the point where I just never said anything about who was doing what to me, because I knew nothing was going to get done. So unless I knew I had two adults, a teacher and the soldier or the guard that I had. So, but overall, I have to say that yes, they were professional and they followed their orders. Yeah.
Go ahead.
What did it feel like to have not much friends?
He wanted to know, here. He wanted to know if it was lonely and if you felt bad for not having very many friends.
What was it, lonely? Yeah, I guess you could say that. I really, that's why I made the comment in the beginning. The 9 of us weren't all friends. I knew Jefferson and Terrence because we worked in the student council together. I knew Ernie because his mother taught me in the first grade.
She's talking
and
to you.
he and I used to go to birthday parties and stuff together. And I knew Gloria because we were 10th graders, but I didn't know the juniors that much other than than Terrence, because he had been president of the student body. So we all got to be good friends. I mean, you know, here it is 50 plus years later, and I'm still in contact with each and every one that's still alive.
That's neat.
So it was lonely because we had no social life, okay? It was all about going to school, getting your homework, not answering the telephone because the phone was always ringing, but it was always something nasty on the other end. So, you know, I'd leave school, go home, fix a sandwich, look at American Bandstand, and get my work done.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
In your book, you mentioned Mrs. Bates.
Yes.
And could you talk a little bit about her? I couldn't find a picture of her really in the
Sure.
book. She seemed like an awfully brave woman.
She was a brave woman. She was president of the Arkansas NAACP, and she was also part owner of a newspaper, the black newspaper there. And Mrs. Bates was before her time. She knew how to use the media, okay? She knew those sorts of ins and outs. And the parents pretty much allowed her to be the spokesman for the adults. So she's considered our mentor, but not all 9 of us really feel that way, okay? But her place was the common point. And she had no children. She and her husband were childless. And so she kind of considered us her children. But we would meet there, and the 101st would pick us up there every morning and bring us back to her house, and then our parents would pick us up. So we would get there, and, you know, there'd be snacks there and that sort of thing. And then she would want us to talk to some reporter, or da-da-da, you know, somebody's coming to town, or some congressman wants to know about what's happening up there. And I really didn't like that, I'm gonna be honest with you. And some of the others didn't like it. But when I look back on it now, it was necessary, because that kept it before the nation. So, and those are the sort of things that was necessary to make change take place in the South. Because things were different above the Mason-Dixon line. It still could be segregated schools, but not based on the reason they were segregated in Little Rock. So she was good with that sort of thing. And you know, very helpful with getting Thurgood Marshall to come to Little Rock and be our attorney in federal courts. So, you know, she was kind of like the Sojourner Truth for black people. So she knew Rosa Parks. You know, Dr. Martin Luther King stayed at her place when he would come to Little Rock. In fact, we met him at her home, and he was in his mid-20s, you know, young man. He was not the king that you see on TV today. He was just starting out, in a sense. And he was just like another regular person to me. He had gone through the Montgomery boycott situation, but he had really not made the name that he eventually did make of himself. And I remember him as the man sitting down there in the basement eating barbecue and drinking a bottle of beer, you know. So that, you know, I'm 14 and he's in his mid-20s at the time. And but then he goes on to do all the great things that he did. And I was in his company a number of times after I finished Little Rock Central High School. So I personally think, since this is Black History Month, I can go into some of this. I personally think that he did not want to be that person in Montgomery. And I told that to his wife when I met her in Atlanta. And, you know, she told me I was right. You know, he was pretty much pushed into that position because he was a good speaker.
Don't.
They needed someone who could articulate what was necessary to be said there in Montgomery. And he was the minister of the church and da-da-da-da-da, and he was pretty much pushed into that position. And as it went on, he took on that responsibility of being pretty much a spokesman. And, you know, people say today we need another Dr. Martin Luther King. Well, I don't think we really need another Dr. Martin Luther King. I think each one of us can be
Right.
Dr. MLK by doing the right thing, by being compassionate, being loving to our fellow man. All of those sorts of things, and we ourselves can be that person.
That's really